prefer the right or the left? I take the right. I take the right.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We had just in the Foreign Affairs Committee a 2-hour debate with the Foreign Minister of Italy, who introduced us to the Italian work plan and priorities, but also gave a report about the Gymnich meeting the last weekend. It was very clear that in the center was crises like Ukraine, where we see more and more Russian aggression, and the will and the thoughts about how a diplomatic and political solution can be still achieved, including the question of the sanctions which were decided in the European Council, but also what it all means for the preparation of the NATO summit. At the same time, we discussed all the questions from South Stream to Iraq, Libya, the humanitarian questions in Iraq and Syria. But I would not like to make these statements all by myself, so I would like to introduce to you Federica Mogherini. We will have a hearing with her at the end of this month. We have decided not to have a first hearing today, so she is here not as the candidate for European Foreign Minister, but as Italian Foreign Minister. Federica, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Thank you, Elmar. Yes, we discussed in Milan, where Elmar had the courtesy of coming to participate to the Gymnich Friday, if it was appropriate to keep this presentation of the priorities of the Italian presidency today. On my side, this is extremely important as a sign of starting with the right steps, building a fruitful cooperation, fruitful and full cooperation with the European Parliament and the committee. I don't know if we were successful in limiting the issues to the Italian presidency and to the Gymnich, but I guess at least I enjoyed the debate very much, and as always, the parliamentary life is always very lively, interesting, and politically relevant. And so I take it as a first chance. As you said, we discussed, I presented the priorities of the Italian presidency, the things, the fields in which we will support, and we are already supporting the work of the High Representative. That is the task that the presidency is given in foreign policy. We discussed a lot about the enlargement. As you might know, I paid one of my first visits after taking the presidency in July to all the capital cities of the Western Balkans to set a clear message of engagement in this respect of the Italian presidency. And then I reported on the discussions we had in Milan Friday and Saturday on the major crisis, Ukraine, obviously with the developments that we've had also in the last days, and with the decision of the Council Saturday night to work on a further package of sanctions. I reported the work that under the presidency that we hold has started yesterday in Coreper to prepare the package. The package will be presented by tomorrow from the Commission. Coreper is meeting again tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, and by Friday a decision will be adopted. So apart from that, I reported the work we've done on Middle East in terms of, in a stricter sense, the work we've done and we're going to do to support the ceasefire in Gaza, making sure that it's a real ceasefire, it's really long-term, and most of all that it is linked to a political process that can lead to a solution, a two-state solution, and a solution that can allow us not to go back to a crisis in Gaza in 12 months or 18 months again, but find really a solution. And we need Europe there, that's clear. I reported also on the discussion we've had on Syria, Iraq, the efforts to face the challenges posed by ISIL in the region. We discussed Libya in Milan and so also here. I think it was an extremely good, fruitful and interesting discussion for me, not only to answer to the questions, but also to listen to the members of parliament views, concerns. And I think we will have in a few weeks another fruitful chance on a different, under a different hat. Two, actually. No, one for the committee. But for me, it was a very good day for the moment. But then I'm in your hands, so it could get worse. No, I'm joking. But as I dedicated a long time, we dedicated a long time for the discussion in the committee, you understand me if we have less time for you. I promise in the future it would not be the same.
Madame Mogherini?
I think we can get just one.
Madame Mogherini?
So, perhaps I'm wrong. He has now asked the question, then I will, I think, appoint.
Yeah.
I think things on the ground are getting more and more dramatic. We speak about an aggression, and I think that we need to respond in the strongest possible way to that, in order to make sure that, as Elmar said, pressure is put in order to find a political solution. Sanctions are part of a strategy, of a political strategy, should be. The fact that the contact group managed to meet is the little light in a time of complete darkness. And I hope that we will manage to work for having this little light growing and the darkness reduce. I have to say it's not encouraging what is happening in these hours, that's clear. What the Italian presidency can do to support the work of the High Representative in this regard, will do, and we are doing. As you know, the work we're doing on Coreper is under the Italian presidency responsibility, and we're doing fast and in a consensual way, hopefully, to implement paragraph 12 of the conclusions that were taken on Saturday.
One after the other.
I think, no, but I think my time has finished.
It's finished?
Because we said I had to finish at 11, so I think just one maybe.
What are you expecting
The lady.
from the United States?
And there. Professor, two questions. You and then the man there in the back with the glasses was the first one. Then it's finished.
What are you expecting from the NATO summit in Wales on Ukraine?
Will you be in Wales for demanding me? No. I expect, first of all, an overall discussion, because the NATO summit has obviously to respond to the situation in Ukraine, which is at the moment extremely dramatic. But I think we should not forget all the other crises that we have around us, and I think it's good that in the Gymnich and also today we discuss them, not to forget that the threat that ISIL is posing is not only an internal threat to minorities in Iraq or people in Syria, but it's a threat also to our security as Europeans, as Italians, for what concerns me, and also to many NATO states. Remember that Turkey is a NATO country and is just bordering the crisis area. So I think and I expect that we will face this discussion as well. I will have a conversation with John Kerry on this later today, and I expect also to take the chance of discussing Afghanistan, because we should learn the lesson of not forgetting conflicts once we leave them. And we are not leaving Afghanistan, if not in terms of military mission there. But I think we need to look to the transition for a longer time. Iraq and also Libya tells us that we need to keep the attention on the political transitions after the military interventions are finished.
Last question.
Minister, you said that you want a political solution with the Islamic State. Could you clarify?
No. I say it's the Nordic way. No. No, I never said this. I'm sorry, maybe the translation was referring a different... I never said a political solution with ISIL. never mentioned anything like this. I take the chance of having all of you here. Nothing like that. No way. I said we need to build a regional framework in the Middle East that allows different actors to face together the challenge of ISIL and respond together to the challenge that ISIL is posing in terms of security, in terms of humanity, let me say it like this. So no way there is a political solution or deal towards ISIL. There is a clear confrontation that for the first time maybe ever might be the opportunity to put together actors that in the region not necessarily have liked talking to each other so far, let's put it this way, to be diplomatic. So I think we have to be very clear that is, as the Pope mentioned, potentially a conflict that is going to become major also for our societies. So we have to be very careful, very tough on that. No way there is a political dialogue at all. I'm really sorry if my words were reported badly, but I take this chance to correct them completely. I'm sorry, but I have
to finish it now. No, Freshman. You have to blame me because I did not stop the meeting earlier there, so we have to close it now. It's all the fault of the European Parliament.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.